This one's for KB. If money doesn't grow on trees, why do banks have branches?
Why don't cats play poker in the jungle? It's too many cheetahs. Yeah.
And isn't cereal just really cold soup?
Hold up. It's the Chargers Squad. Everything Los Angeles Chargers every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Chargers Squad Show, starting now.
No, Jim. Cold soup is vichyssoise. And cereal is a weird one. It's a very weird one. If you described it to an alien, they would be like, what? I don't think so. I'm going to pass.
This morning over my Cheerios. Is this soup?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Welcome into the Locked On Midweek Chargers Squad Show. Pete Fox covering sports in LA for ESPN and NBC Sports Radio back to 2007. KB, Kenjon Barner, 10 years in the league. Oregon Duck Hall of Famer. And Jim Daniels covering sports in LA dating back to 2001. A couple of weird things to start with. I was talking to Sam Eckert, who is it Eckert? Ekstrom. I always call him Eckert. Sam Ekstrom, who's kind of like our boss, yesterday. He's in Minneapolis. I looked at the weather. It was 50 in Minneapolis and 50 here. And he laughed and said, well, in a couple of days, it's going to be 30 here and 80 there. So we'll enjoy it while it lasts. And I'm sorry to hear that for you guys. But yeah, today's chilly. 48 degrees for us here in SoCal. We're
Don't leave that rain out. 48 and raining.
We're all bundled up. Here's another weird one for you, Jim. This can blow your mind. You know what happens on Saturday? Dodgers and Angels spring training.
Wow. Already?
That's crazy. Speaking of which, this time of year, football's over. You know, the Super Bowl celebrations, I assume, are over. Maybe not. I don't know. But KB, like in the offseason, yeah, that was part of my question. When you were an Eagle, we were about 3 weeks now out of the Super Bowl. Were you still celebrating at
Yes. I was still partying. I was still inebriated. Okay. It was long nights, longer mornings. Okay. So now we had an absolute ball. So if if I'm those guys on Seattle, I'm taking you're gonna this time of year, especially for those teams that make it to the Super Bowl. Like you need a longer period of ball, a period of break away from ball. You know, you played football all the way into February, and you're starting right back up in April. So you really may not get your program going until March. Start getting your body somewhat ready back into that shape, and then use OSPs and OTAs and all of that to really get your body back in football shape. So for now, this is all about relaxation and enjoying the moment.
Jim, right now as a fan, if your team won the Super Bowl or a championship, you celebrate for a few days, maybe a week, where you're just like kind of on cloud nine. But after that, you're like back to the basics, right?
Oh no! If it's no. If it's me and if it's my team, I'm running my mouth reckless, seriously, for weeks, maybe months, maybe till the season starts. No, if my team gets there, top of the mountain, and I'm born and raised in the LA area, so a lot of LA teams have been to a lot of parades, taking my kids to a lot of parades, and dude, you bask in that. I mean, you as a fan, we spend so much money. And I just say invest so much because that's everything. That's your time, your money, your effort, your memories with your kids. I can remember being at, downtown celebrations in LA where the crowd is so big, you're moving around, you can't even touch the ground. Can you dig it? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That stuff never gets old. You never get tired when it's your squad. Now, when it's your hated rival, 49er fans, not digging this Seahawk thing right now at all. Not at all.
Rams, Seahawks, none of them.
Rams fans not liking this stuff at all. I can tell you, I know some Seahawk fans who are out here in the West Coast, and they love this because the Rams have owned them, pretty much for the past few years. And for them to get over on them and get to the Super Bowl and win it is terrific. But I just don't know about $8 million for that club. I read that this morning, too.
Yeah, I remember when I worked at ESPN Radio in LA. From like 2009 to like 2014, we had a parade every year, so it became like a regular thing. It was the Lakers and then the Kings, and it's like June rolled around and you just put parade on the calendar, and we started to take it for granted. We're like, whoa, slow down, this doesn't happen all the time.
No, it doesn't.
But if you don't win, KB, and you lose, whether it's in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, or your team doesn't even make the playoffs, let's say, what does this time of year look like? Are you starting to get back into, like, I need to start getting into shape, start paying attention to what's happening, or am I still kind of relaxing this time of year?
Every individual is different. Being here on this Chargers podcast, so we can talk about it. I played with a guy by the name of Ryan Matthews, one of the most freakish running backs I've ever played with in my life. But Ryan Matthews did not really work out in the offseason. I remember we were getting ready for fall camp. We're getting ready for training camp, OTAs, and all of that. And Ryan was my guy, and we would hang out. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit this workout, and then I'll be out there wherever we were going. And I'm like, have you worked out? He was like, no. I'm like, huh? What do you mean? Like, well, we start OTAs or training camp a month from now, right? He's like, yeah, I'll run a couple times, but I'll be all right. But there's some guys, right, who are just physically gifted and don't require everything. But for me, I was a guy that when we lost, I'd take maybe a week off and I'm right back into it. I'm out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, training with my guy, Jordan, getting out there with John Jones, rolling on the mat, doing everything that I possibly could to stay ahead of the curve, because I know another younger guy is coming that's trying to take my spot. I know they're trying to replace me. So everybody's different, but I learned from guys like Darren Sproles, who literally was an addict when it came to keeping his body in tip-top performance shape. And so for some guys, it's a longer period of vacationing, but for me, it was, listen, I got to earn that vacation. I haven't made it. So I got to put the time in now to make sure I ensure myself a job come August and September.
Jim,
it's fun to interview our co-host with Locked On Sports. KB, when they say, sorry, Pete, when they say football shape, can you put that a fine point on that? I mean, are you in shape? Are you been working out? You didn't play last year. You're trying to make a comeback. Are you in shape or are you in football shape? What's the difference?
There's a key difference, right? And so when you talk about being in shape, right, you're running your hills, you're running miles, conditioning, strength, like you're physically in shape. But when you talk about football shape, there is nothing that gets you in football shape except football. I don't care how many miles you run. I don't care how many hills you run, how many 300-yard shuttles, how many sprints. There is nothing that's going to get you in shape except football. I have been in the best shape of my life in the offseason, where trainers have been like, listen, you look phenomenal. I'm like, thank you. But the minute I get on that football field, it's just a completely different type of movement. You can't really create the physical part of football. And that's the draining part, where you have guys leaning on you. I have to block this 240-pound linebacker. I got to go through pass protection, then get out into my route. Then we got to run. Nothing will get you in football shape except playing football. And you ask any football player, they'll tell you that you can be in the best conditioning shape of your life, from your lung capacity, how you physically look in the weight room, you got it. But once you get on that football field, it's a completely different monster.
Yeah, it reminds me of when I started in radio. You want to try to practice. There's no way to practice radio. I mean, pre-YouTube anyway, you can't practice radio. You have to be on the radio to be doing radio and get better at it. You can't sit in your closet and talk to the wall and get better at it. It's the same thing for football.
And it's funny that you say that, some guy, like you knew a guy that was like, it's off season. I'm taking a break. I'm giving my body a break. I'm going to rest. I want more gas in the tank at the end of this year than to be, completely in shape. And everybody really approaches this completely differently, don't they? I mean, every player has their own thought and belief about how to handle the off season and where they want to be when they get to that first training camp, or that first football workout.
Yeah, for a lot of these,
for every guy.
Yeah, it's definitely different. But I mean, for a guy, again, Ryan Matthews, that's a guy that's going to take a lot of punishment throughout the season, right? Yeah. That's a guy that's going to get 15, 20 carries a game. That's a guy who's a physical specimen, who's not really running around guys. So his preparation for season is completely different from mine, who is primarily a returner, right? So I'm catching punts, I'm doing this or doing that, but he has to be able to preserve his body, not put that wear and tear, put the miles on his body that he's going to have to run come season. So every individual is going to be different, and every player is going to be different based off of what their body requires.
Jim, as you're wearing the American Century shirt, it reminds me of a golfer. I think it was Bruce Litsky, maybe Kenny Perry, one of the two. He would say to people that he didn't practice in the offseason at all, and people didn't believe him, right? Because he's such a solid, consistent golfer. And one of his friends, no, it was his caddy, put a banana in his golf bag to see if he went out, because obviously if you leave a banana in a golf bag, it's going to get black and turn gross. And sure as anything, the next start of the season, he opened up the golf bag and there was that black banana. The guy did not practice. It was unbelievable. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Hey, the tale of two stories on that sport, by the way, Tiger Woods and John Daly. You really want to go down a rabbit hole about what sports is like, how it's different for people. These guys are both magnificently talented and could not be any more polar opposites than there are on the planet. Daly wants to chug a bottle of Chivas before he goes out there, and Tiger's working out around the clock.
Yeah.
And Tiger sees the stadium and said, John, you put that bottle down, you win a whole lot more. But I have a whole lot more fun than you are, Tiger.
30 Diet Cokes in the process.
Right, yeah.
All right, it's the Locked On Chargers squad show. Big topic floating around. It's come up before on the show, and we've kind of glossed over it. We'll talk about it today. Tyreek Hill. You want him on the Chargers? I got a lot of opinions in the chat. We'll talk about that next. It's the Locked On Chargers squad show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, where you find Daniel and David Monday through Friday. We also like to thank you guys for making Locked On Chargers your first listen and the #1 sports podcasting network. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers squad show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. We're looking at every aspect of the draft to let you know which tasty flavors are the best and which might be sleepers. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and only one is going to the top. 5 Hour Energy, you may not know this, has a wide variety of flavors, something for everyone. I honestly was surprised by the amount of flavors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 flavors, including grape, cherry, berry, strawberry, banana, that sounds good, Hawaiian breeze, sour apple, peach, mango, strawberry, watermelon, tropical burst. Anytime tropical's in the title, I am in. So I'm probably going to go with tropical burst. Find your new flavor. 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com. You ever notice the watermelon flavor doesn't really taste like watermelon, but it does taste like watermelon flavor, like whatever you have it in, right?
No, it's watermelon flavored things. They all come out taste like cucumber to me. It doesn't taste like watermelon. Just like
it's a very different taste than an actual watermelon. It's still yummy, but it's different. All right, so Tyreek Hill. This all kind of started, I think, because of Tyreek Hill. He's not dumb. He sent out a tweet when the Chargers acquired or hired Mike McDaniel, saying, quote, Mike to the Chargers. So that got everyone thinking, does he want to be a Charger? Before I get your opinions, I'm going to read from the chat. First comment, McLovin. No. I sure hope Hill will stay far away from the Chargers. Second comment, Alejandro. Simply no. Do not need that kind of player. Please focus on protecting your franchise quarterback. To Papa, absolutely not. Say no to Hill. Rick and H-Stein, damn right. So I think there's a good feeling about this. The question becomes, does Mike McDaniel want Tyreek Hill on the team, KB?
Yeah. Listen, I know a lot of other people judge individuals based off of what they do in their personal life, and what you do in your personal life and what you do on the field is two completely different things, in my opinion, depending on what it is. But when you have a guy like Tyreek Hill who can turn a 5-yard catch into a 70-yard touchdown, what offensive coordinator, what offense, what head coach, what fan base would not want that? I had the opportunity to play against Tyreek Hill during my Tampa days, and the dude is absolutely unreal. It's a cheat code. You play Madden, NCAA, you go turn a player speed up to all the way to 99. When he catches the ball, nobody's catching him. Tyreek Hill is that video game type player. And so when you have this skill set that he has, and it's a skill set that you can't teach, and it's lightning in a bottle. It's the ability to get to the end zone in a flash. And so the fans may not want him, but I'm willing to bet and I'm willing to guarantee, and I would tell you that if you were to ask any player in that Charger locker room if they wanted Tyreek Hill, including your quarterback, Justin Herbert, the answer would unanimously be yes, bring him. Unless you're a receiver and you're worried about getting your targets taken away. Listen, you want a guy that is, you want game changers in your locker room. Not only is he a game changer, he is a game breaker. He can absolutely change the outcome of a game in a single catch. So, from a football standpoint, yeah. And again, what he went through in Miami is not, you heard none of that when he was with Kansas City. Kansas City was football, and he was a star. So you get him in the right environment, you get him around the right people, I think you can get the best version of Tyreek Hill.
Jim, what about this factor? Hill could step into a system he already knows and produce quickly once healthy. Hill even tweeted that McDaniel's move to LA caught his attention. So getting him in there, a guy that's familiar with the system, could help the whole thing with Justin Herbert and Mike McDaniel kind of, assimilate faster, develop faster.
Yeah, sure. And I want to echo everything that KB said, and I want to add this to it. What he brings when that offense walks out on the field is fear for the defense on the other side, because everything that KB was saying, this guy is a cheat code. He jukes you the wrong way, forget it. He's gone. If Herbert sees him, that's it. One wrong step and he's gone and to the house, and no one's going to catch him. I like you put something down the lower third a minute ago. Somebody said a 1 year Charger friendly deal. Yeah, that's what I'd be into. Prove that you can survive the drama here in Los Angeles and everything that goes with that, with being, in the media center of the football world. But one of the things that I love that he brings is fear. Is that he puts fear in that defense. And you're going to have to really pay attention to that guy, and that's going to change the game for everybody else in the wide receiving core and the quarterback on the Chargers team if that guy's out there. I would love to get a 1 year test drive on him to see what happens. I don't want to break the bank, but because of his age and everything else, maybe you get a little bit of a deal. I don't know. I'm talking through my hat here, but yeah, the biggest thing for me that I like about him, or one of the big things, is what he brings to, what he puts in the defense's head is like, where is he? Where is he?
Yeah.
He's 32 years old. That's an issue that some people have an issue with. They're concerned.
That's young.
Wide receiver.
That's still relatively young. This goes back to the conversation I think we were having the other day on
Aren't you
Tuesday.
like 33, KB?
Huh?
Aren't you like 33?
I'm 36. I may look young, but I got some wisdom behind this, okay? But that's, again, for nowadays, right? Guys are playing this game a hell of a lot longer than what guys did in the past. So that number on your age, that 30, 31, 32, that's no longer affecting these guys. The game has evolved and the players have evolved with it. And the way that people are taking care of their bodies, the way that they're being used, like the game of football is not what it used to be. Like when you touched 30 back in the day in the 90s, yeah, you're old because you've been getting your head drove into the ground. You've been getting speared. You've been getting everything done to you under the sun that you should go to jail for if you were on the street. Like, so that played a part in why people's guys' bodies broke down the way that they broke down. But this isn't that day and age. This isn't that game anymore. It's completely different. So guys are playing way longer and continuing to play at a high elite level well into their 30s. So 32 doesn't scare me when it comes to Tyreek Hill, because at the end of the day, Tyreek's 32 is still faster than some guys 26.
All right, put on your GM hat here real quick. This is a thing that's out there.
Okay.
The Chiefs potentially are interested.
Absolutely.
And the Butcher says, I'll ask you this. Do you want him to go to one of our division rivals? So this addition to the Chargers could be subtraction for the Chiefs or the Broncos. It's not a bad way to look at it. Again, if it's cap friendly and it's a 1 year kind of, make or break, go out and prove yourself and we'll go from there kind of a thing. I don't know. I'm really on the fence because another thing I think about, KB, could Ladd, Trey Harris, Quentin Johnston, could they learn from him? Could he help, that's
good.
I don't know. I mean, could they take something from his playbook and become better than they already are?
That's a great question, and that's something that everybody should wonder about. Some guys are just there to play football. They aren't there to be a leader. They aren't there to teach. They aren't there to be a mentor. Some guys are just there to do their job, and that's okay. I played with a lot of guys who weren't willing to help, who didn't want to teach, who wanted to come get their check, go home to their family. And that's just what it was. And that's okay, right? And so when you look at a guy like Ladd, when you look at Quentin, when you look at Trey, if you're looking for somebody to come in and be a mentor, that's what a guy like Keenan Allen is for. That a true vet, but a dude who has no issue helping those up under. And listen, I never played with Tyreek Hill, so I can't speak to what type of teammate he is. I can't speak to whether or not he's helping guys in the locker room. I can't speak to that, and I don't know. But I would just find it hard to believe that he's a guy that's not willing to help one of his teammates. I haven't heard that about him. So, who knows? And to the question of, do you want him to go to one of your division rivals? Absolutely not. I don't want to see Tyreek Hill, Kansas City, and Pat Mahomes again, because we know what that breeds. That breeds complete domination. And where Kansas City has lacked and where they have suffered since he's been gone is at the receiver spot. They aren't as explosive on offense. They aren't getting them big 60-yard chunk plays that they were getting when Tyreek Hill was there. And so, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that flame reignited. I don't want that union coming back together. I don't want Andy Reid. I don't want Pat Mahomes, and I don't want Tyreek Hill in the same locker room. I just don't. I don't.
I like the way it is. I hate the idea of bringing somebody in that's going to upset the whole vibe. But the whole go to somebody else, I don't know that you can worry about that, because I don't want him to go to the Chiefs, but I don't want him to go to the Raiders either. I mean, he's got Raider written all over him.
He does.
He does. Especially Tom Brady there. Tom Brady knows what a cheat code that guy is. He'll bring him in here. He'll make a deal with him. I bet you that's where Tyreek winds up. It's somewhere in the AFC West. But, it's probably not the perfect fit here. I mean, McDaniel is going to know. He has obviously had conversations already with Harbaugh, and they've already made up their mind about him, I'm sure. But as far as trying to block him from going someplace else, you can't block him from going to the Broncos. I don't want to see him go there either. Do you want to see that guy in an orange jersey streaking down that sideline? No.
Yeah, it's tough. That's a tough aspect of it, but you can't, you kind of got to worry about what's under your own roof and not everyone else's roof, I think, when you look at these kind of things. Sure, if it's an obvious opportunity to steal him from somebody, and it's not going to cost you a lot. I come back to, we don't need more receivers. That's really what it is. I mean,
this doesn't feel like hometown discount. Let me come out to LA.
No, definitely not.
Living in Los Angeles. No.
We talked about a guy last week. And I've been so heavy on the offensive line, and I still am heavy on the offensive line. Excuse me. But we talked about a guy that they could potentially draft in the second round in D'Angelo Ponds. And I sat with that for a little bit, and I really looked at our DBs, and I came to the conclusion that I think D'Angelo Ponds, it would be a must-have for the team if that's the direct. I do. For the simple reason is that we don't have a true lockdown corner, and I think D'Angelo Ponds could be that. Like, I know what he was in college, right? Now, I'll never say that a guy in college can do what he did in college at the NFL level. I just won't say that. I got to see you do it for me to say that. But what I'd seen from him was a sound technician, a physical specimen for his size, a guy that can cover anybody, a guy who went play for play, ball for ball with a guy that should be in the NFL right now, and Jeremiah Smith out there at Ohio State. I think D'Angelo Ponds would add great value to this team, and really solidify that secondary, because we don't have what we need at the DB position. I love the guys that we have, and they brought great value, but I went back and revisited that. I said I would like him. I would like him here. I would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a problem area, but it couldn't hurt for them to get a little bit better. No. As boring as it may be, defense is the way to a championship.
We've seen that with Seattle. That's a whole nother thing. We've seen a guy who was average win a Super Bowl because his defense was great. And Sam Darnold, I'm not saying that he played average all season long, but when it mattered the most in that Super Bowl game, he was a guy who was just there, in my opinion, and his defense won the game.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's interesting. There's some comments that he's a shadow of his former self, etc.
Of Tyreek?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm kind of I'm way on the fence about this move. I look at the guy more than the player. Like, would he come in and would he be able to not be the number one or even two? You know, can he be a third down guy potentially?
Absolutely not, Pete. I'll stop. If Tyreek Hill comes to the Chargers, he is the Chargers number one.
Really?
Yeah. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
That's where I have a problem. Like, I don't know that we want him to be. I don't think we need him to be the number one. Like, Seattle could use him as a number one. Like, we don't.
No, they got JSN.
Right,
JSN going to be their number one. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at Tyreek Hill, there's not many teams that if Tyreek Hill did go to, he wouldn't automatically become their number one receiver. There's just not. You can Minnesota with Jefferson. You have Cincinnati with Jamar. You have Seattle with JSN. Then you go to Dallas. And they have two guys over there, and I'm drawing a blank. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on those guys. CeeDee Lamb and the kid from Pittsburgh, Pickens. But outside of that, if you sign Tyreek Hill, you're signing him to be your number one receiver, and especially here because we don't have a true number one. We haven't had that the past couple of seasons. So if you do bring Tyreek Hill, everybody else is taking a backseat to him.
See that? If that's the truth, then I don't like this idea. I want
who would you say would be better than Tyreek, Pete?
Well, just what we got, right? Like, I don't think they need to add somebody there potentially. This is the only one that's kind of interesting. But I think with Ladd and Quentin and the youngsters and Trey and KLS, I feel like there's enough. And those two youngsters, Trey's can be good. We already know that. Yeah. And KLS is definitely on the come. So you don't want to compromise their future by an experiment, right? When you don't necessarily need it.
What the Seahawks just did should tell the Chargers they don't need Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What you mean by that?
It means that they didn't go out and they took Cooper Kupp rather than go get somebody to put Scary on the other side of JSN. This is a team that, people thought, oh, they're pretty good. Oh, it's the NFC West. Next thing you know, they're hoisting the trophy with a bunch of young guys. They stuck to their game plan and what they needed to do. They didn't go out in panic buy mode in the offseason last year to try and get closer. It's just not a right fit. Like Kenyon says, he's going to be the star of the offense, and that's not the star of this offense. The star of this offense is the quarterback, and this is this game that we're playing is football, and there's nothing more team game than NFL football. You've got to have everything fire on all cylinders. Everything got to go right for you to win playoffs, for you to win championships. It's a team thing, and Tyreek Hill going to take up too much money, too much attention, and when he fails, everybody's going to be like pointing the fingers.
Yeah. You talked about Seattle and what they did. Seattle had a true number one in JSN, so you could go and you could bring in a Cooper Kupp who's not expected to be your number one guy, right? That's kind of like a filler piece, and I don't want to disrespect Cooper Kupp at all because what he did when he was with the Rams was absolutely out of sight and out of this world. He was an absolute star. But what Seattle did, they had their number one in JSN. So now I go get comparable pieces. What the Chargers lack is a guy that can take the pressure off of Justin Herbert. What the Chargers lack is a guy that can take the pressure off of everyone else and allow Ladd McConkie to go to work in one-on-one coverage. A guy that will allow Trey to shine, a guy that will allow Quentin to shine. That's what the Chargers lack. And so when you talk about these,
you don't think anybody they currently have could step into that role and kind of become that guy?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Because we haven't seen it. You go back to Ladd's first year. Ladd was the number one receiver. Ladd's not a true number one.
Yeah.
He's not. When you look currently now on this roster, based on what we've seen from last season, what we're looking at is what guys could potentially be. Or when you look at Trey, you see the potential of what he could be, but we don't know exactly what he is until he gets a bigger workload and continues to prove. We don't know what KLS is. We don't know yet. We've seen him in spots. We've seen him come on late in the season when they started to give him more opportunity. We know what Ladd is. Ladd is your slot guy, your intermediate guy, option route, get open, make big plays down the field. Quentin Johnston, he's been your over the top guy, speed guy. But we don't have a guy that when it all comes down to it and we got to have it, we have a number one dude that we know we're going to go to. We don't have a guy that defenses have to say, okay, when we line up, we're going to double team him. We got to take him away. We'll let everybody else beat us, but he can't. The Chargers don't have that. And that's not a disrespect to anybody in the room, but we just don't have that. And that's the
words for you. Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Ladidi's gonna be that guy. Hold on. This never happened, so I gotta push this up here. Hold on. Philip.
We must got some Pete love.
That's right, Pete. We're good.
Oh yeah, listen, and we love Ladd. Ain't no doubt about it.
He's gonna flourish.
We love Ladd.
We're gonna be looking back and go, remember what Ladd was, and look at what he is now.
Ladd is Wes Welker.
Yeah,
that's who Ladd is.
Absolutely.
Ladd is Wes Welker. 1000%. That's Ladd, and that is a hell of a compliment.
Waddle. That's
no, I don't. Nah, I think Ladd is Wes Welker reincarnated. I think he has a more. I think he's a better route runner. I think he's more twitchy than what Wes was. But when you look at what Wes was able to do at his size and at his stature, that's who Ladd is.
That's a heck of a compliment.
All right. Well, there's one more thing on this. This is from about 3 hours ago. A guy named David Furones, who is a Miami beat reporter, tweeted that Tyreek is in Kansas City through his geotags. Big brother. I don't know. So this is from a few hours ago. So this might be a null point, a dead issue if he's in Kansas City right now. So we'll just wait and see. But it is definitely an interesting conversation for sure.
Well, and are we surprised that that the AFC West is where Tyreek is interested in playing? I mean, what's more exciting than this division? Think about it. I mean, he'd probably be thrilled to play for any of these teams.
Indeed. Yeah, I think a lot of it for him is the West Coast or LA, and then being paired with Mike McDaniel again. Like, he knows what that is and how that's going to go, right? He gets it. And I think
having a quarterback that can deliver the deep ball for him. I see the comments about Tyreek Hill, and y'all got to go back and rewatch some film on Tyreek Hill and put some respect on his name.
I like the post you put up, Tyreek in Vegas disaster.
Yeah, I mean,
down for him maybe.
The Chargers are still sexy. They're going to be for the next 2 months, right? People are always going to be interested. We're going to be interested in potentially putting these two together, and there's going to be a lot of heat surrounding this team with guys wanting to be a part of what's going on. It's exciting, and that's cool for us. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. When we come back, we're going to talk about the offensive line some more, because we don't do that enough.
We don't do that nearly enough.
We're going to talk about it so much that they're like, just by osmosis, the Chargers are going to have to do something to make the offensive line better. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up. Indeed can help you out with your inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Indeed Sponsored Job Links helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you about this, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job to the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about us on Indeed. You heard about them on Indeed, or heard about us through them. or them on us, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Indeed.com, and we are the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. All right, this story from Sports Illustrated, Gavino Borquez, fancy name. 5 linemen that are out there, offensive linemen that are potential options for the Chargers. David Edwards is the top of the list for me, a guy we talked about a couple of days ago. He's 28, coming off a career best 2025 season with the Bills. His projection for 2 years financially is $28 million. I like that for a variety of reasons. The main one for me, guys, 28 years old and $28 million for a couple of years. I think we saw a higher number when we talked about it a couple of days ago. So if it's a little bit less, I'm even more interested in a guy like that because of his youth and because of his PFF ratings, right? Right, Jim?
Yes, and where he's coming from too. He's coming from a system that plays at a high level. I like that too. I saw the article that you were talking about in SI, and really, I'm kind of surprised that they had so many guys way past the 30 barrier in this thing. You know, when you talk about gigantic humans over 30 years old, those are not investments I think I'm willing to make. 33-year-old, look, I know you may have a history of being a guy that's always on the field, and KB, I'm going to always bow to your expertise on this stuff. But, they always talk about 30 being that number for everybody, especially running backs. But, guys, some of these big guys manage to get through their career, hang around for a long time. They never get hurt. They're always out there. But that's just not a risk that I want to take. 3 of the 5 guys that SI suggested were past 30. No thanks.
One of them is 35. I'm like, I'll pass on Joel Patino.
Yeah. Rick Pitino's grandchild can go somewhere.
Take your pedigree somewhere else, man.
We don't want that. Okay, we will pass on that one.
Basketball.
But for me, the guy, and I had the opportunity to play with him in it when he was a rookie. Is Isaac out of Pittsburgh.
Seumalo.
Absolute. He's a guy. He's a dude that is not only a great pass blocker, he's a great run blocker. And what the Chargers need is individuals who can do both effectively at a high clip and at a high level. A dude who is consistently there, doesn't get injured, and does his job, and was a top 20 guard in the league this past season. So that's the top guy for me, especially if we're talking about solidifying those 3 inside positions, your 2 guards and your center. I think you start with a guy like Isaac, just a guy, a guy who's had the opportunity to play up under some great coaches. Coach Stoutland out there in Philadelphia, who's no longer there now, who just walked away from the game, but he's been taught by the best. He's played next to the best, from Jason Peters to Lane Johnson, played next to Jason Kelsey at the center position. So this is a dude who knows what it feels like and what it sounds like and what offensive line play is all about. So that's the number one guy that I seen on this list for me.
Yeah, the numbers are there. His 97.3% pass rush win rate ranks second among 65 qualifying guards, and 76.9 run block win rate checked 4th. So those are fantastic ratings. Here's another thing I really like about this guy. Yeah, he's a little bit on the older side, but I'm willing to overlook it because, as you mentioned, he's healthy a lot, and he has an ability to play the left and right sides. So that's definitely something the Chargers need with their black cloud that is always over their head with injuries. You need a guy that is flexible, like Joel, who was able to move. Slater got hurt. So that
another guy on this list that I like is Dalton Risner. I mean, this is another guy that's, again, one of the 2 guys on the list that's under 30 years old, and he's somebody that plays in a complex offense. He's currently with Cincinnati. And, this is a guy that, an interior, guard that is a kind of player that we're looking for. He's the right age, he's the right size, and is going to, obviously going to fit the financial.
My only question with him is the run game aspect of it. I think he's a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. That's not a bad thing, but again, if we go back to your point of being versatile, going back to Isaac for a second, like that, the more you can do, the more value you have. And the way that the Chargers had to plug and play with the offensive line and trying to figure out what guys can do what, like you want guys like that if need be, if we have a guy that's better at the left guard spot, I can trust you to go over and play the right guard spot. So the more you can do, the more value you have. And, if we can get any of these guys, we'll be lucky. We'll be happy. We're talking about who our number one guys are and this, that, and the other. But damn it, if we can get two of you, just two, we'll be happy. And I don't care. And minus my guy that's on his way to 40. We can leave him where he's at. We're gonna leave Patino over there. We can leave him there. But these other guys.
Here's some more good news about Seumalo. He's from Honolulu, so he's lived an easy life, right?
He's a great dude. Great dude. I mean, he's another guy who made a piss poor decision out of high school. And he chose to go to Oregon State. Again, we live and we learn as we get older. We grow, right? But Isaac, again, I'm gonna continue to go back to the word of the year for the Chargers: continuity. This is a guy that I know for a fact that you can bring in. He's going to be a team first guy who's going to sacrifice what he needs to sacrifice for the betterment of the team. This is a dude that fits the pieces to the puzzle that the Chargers are trying to build. So I'm all for Isaac coming here. Let's go make that happen, Ortiz.
Yeah, and two other things I like about him. He looks like a lineman. He's got that top knot, so he's like not
long hair, don't care.
Exactly. He doesn't even look 33. I mean, I put him at like 28, 29, so he looks young. So that's another good thing. Those have been easy years coming from Honolulu. All right, final break. When we come back, we're gonna spend a few minutes on. A couple of weeks last week, I think we did the highlights of this past season. Today, we're going to spend a few minutes on the lowlights.
Oh no!
what 3 games disappointed us the most?
Oh, I know what number 1 is.
Number 1 is easy. That's why I did 3, because we'd all be like, "Freaking Jags!"
For a fact,
that game was so bad. Kenjon was unwilling to root for them in any way, shape, or form. Even when they were on the big winning streak, he's like, "They suck. They still suck. I'm not willing to come off that stance." It's the Locked On Chargers show.
Hey, it's Matt Derry from the Locked On Lions podcast. The people I love depend on me. If I'm gone, the financial responsibilities don't disappear. I didn't want my family figuring things out during the hardest moment of their lives. That's why I knew only one place to go. I chose life insurance through my friends at Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. I love the folks at Ethos. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get the free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. That is ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Application times and rates may vary.
All right, the Locked On Chargers squad show, final segment of the week. My biggest favorite memory of that game was when we started the show, Kenjon Barner showed up in a robe saying, "If the Chargers aren't going to come to work today, neither am I." If the Chargers didn't get out of bed today, neither am I.
Neither am I. Absolutely not.
Part of that. Well done. So that game was ugly for so many reasons. They got punched in the mouth right out of the gate. But from a statistical box score standpoint, the two biggest numbers that are just atrocious in a 35-6 loss was Justin Herbert throwing for 81 yards, no touchdowns because they didn't even score one, and Justin Herbert being the lead rusher with 21 yards. I mean, come on. And then they couldn't stop the Jacksonville rushing attack. Tootin had 74 yards and Travis Etienne had 73 yards. That one, without a doubt, ugliest of the season by far, right, Jim?
Yes, that's the one. Thanks for opening the wound, ripping off the Band-Aid, and throwing the rubbing alcohol in there. It's hard to because you asked us to think about several games, and I guess the playoff game has to be like out of the category. I mean, in the regular season, all of that stuff happens because
the playoff game is one of mine, JD.
Yeah,
so
that's good for me, for sure.
Nothing could have been more disappointing than to go there and to put up that performance. I've been saving this. I hope it's still here. Hold on a second, because this is something that that we all have talked about here. Just bear with me for just a second. You talk about the missed opportunity. Patriots scheduled this season. Game number 1, Raiders, head coach fired. Game number 2, Dolphins, head coach fired. Game number 3, head coach resigned. Game number 4, NFC South. Game number 5, head coach fired. Game number 7, head coach fired. The Browns, head coach fired. The Falcons, head coach fired. Do you see where I'm going with all of this? You see this stuff? New York Giants, head coach fired. Bills fired. Head coach fired in Baltimore. Jets fired. You see a pattern here? You want to talk about missed opportunity, man. Wow.
I agree. KB and I are on the same page there. I agree. That's number 3 for me. Rick and H-Town lost to the Giants.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
That's 4 for me. My number 2 was the loss to the Indianapolis Colts, and here's why. Frickin' Jonathan Taylor. Oh my God. I was so mad. How is that guy he's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they had no answer. None. Only 94 yards. I thought he had like 160. But 94 yards. It felt like twice that. So it was they had, they scored some points, but the 38-24 does not indicate how bad that game was. Just a complete blowout, and they were never in that one at all, and just like frustration on 11 at the end of that one, right up there with Jacksonville for me. Those are my top 2. Oh God, that game was the worst.
My number 2 would be the Houston game. Just completely got dominated. It was one of those games to where I know the score ended up 20-16, but it was one of those games that you never really felt like you were in it. You never really felt like you were in control of this game at all. This especially coming off a 2-game winning streak. You beat Kansas City. Very impressive game versus Kansas City, physical. Then you come out and you manhandle Dallas. I'm expecting you to go ahead and potentially run the table. I wasn't expecting Houston to be able to come out and do to you what they did. Obviously, we give up those 2 explosive plays defensively back to back, and the game is completely different. But for me, it was how Houston came out and dominated that game in every sense of the word. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, and then you know what else made that bad was the way they lost to Houston in the playoffs the year before as well. It felt very similar, kind of opened that wound again. So
our opening wounds, let me go ahead and put this in here. Week number 5, we threw a great big fat party for Jaden Daniels. Hey, I'm going back home. Let's have a big party up at SoFi. And the Chargers completely didn't show it, 27-10 to the Commanders. Somebody want to explain to me what happened in that game besides, oh my God, we're scared, Jaden Daniels. Oh my God, he's going to go off in front of the hometown fans and everything. Wow, what was that? They didn't show, man. He didn't show up in week 5 at home.
Will says the Giants loss was the worst for me because it was so obviously a trap game and we couldn't show up for it. Had the chance to start 4-0. Alt gets hurt. Yeah, that one was bad too, for sure.
Terrible game. Game. That one for me, that's definitely a bad loss, but that wasn't a game that I didn't think was a chance that we would lose, just because of the simple fact that you had no film on Dart. You didn't know what to expect from him. We talked about that going into that game, that sometimes when you make a change that can energize and give life to a team. So for me, it was a terrible loss, a game that they should have won. But for me, it was a game that I almost expected them to lose, because of the fact that the Jackson Dart effect.
Yeah. It wasn't terribly surprising. It was frustrating because it was obvious. It seemed obvious. Like how are you not scheming this guy up?
His rookie quarterback is blitz. Don't give him time to think anything. He should have been in his face all day long. It was a terrible defensive call. Look, they look past that game. I can't even think about that one either. That's
the numbers for Dart were not great either.
No,
111 yards, 1 touchdown. Cam
what he did with his legs, though, that's where he hurt the Chargers. He hurt the Chargers with his legs. He extended play after play, third down after third down. He was a playmaker in that game. It wasn't
18 points on that defense. 18 points.
Yeah.
He ran for 54 yards. Yeah. Everyone's mad at me. Not terribly, but everyone is feeling this pain again. All Navies. We S the bed. LOL.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
What are you talking about specifically? S-ing the bed.
We kind of did that a lot this season in a few games.
You're not doing the Locked On Browns podcast, okay?
That was the point of the Giants and the Colts losses for me were like after wins, right? So they were doing okay, right? They beat the Dolphins and then lost to the Colts. And granted, the Dolphins game maybe was a little too close. They beat the Broncos and then lost to the Giants. That was that point of the year where we're like, we don't know what to expect week in and week out, right?
Yeah.
And that's why those two were frustrating. And then obviously the top of the heap for all of us was the Jaguars embarrassment again. Predictable because it was going into the bye week, and that just makes you even more frustrated. You're like,
don't make me go get their schedule out and go down that one next. Don't make me
go ahead. I'm with you, JD. I'm with you on that one.
Don't get KB started. Like
I said, they'd be one and done when they got in the playoffs. That's just what they did, man.
Exactly what they were. One and done. One hit wonder.
Well, we'll leave you with that happy note right there.
Wait.
Okay, yes.
$8 billion for the Seahawks. I mean, perfect timing. Win the Super Bowl and put the team for sale. Brilliant. But $8 billion is what Fox reported.
Wow.
Really?
That's a smart business move right there.
Oh, sure it is.
Oh, that's smart. $8 billion. Wow.
It's only a problem if you have 7 billion. If you have 7 billion, then it's a problem. If you have 11, it's fine. Whatever. It's just all about perspective. It's funny money for those guys, right?
True.
David Tepper money, owner of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the Chargers owner doesn't have 8 billion laying around. We wish he did. It wouldn't be as big of an issue. Yeah. As we've said before, not all billionaires are created the same.
That's true.
Unfortunately, we have one that doesn't have 8 billion. He's rich, but not that rich. So we do the best we can. And I think Ortiz is doing a good job so far. We had a comment earlier. If Ortiz screws up this offensive line in the offseason, he's on the chopping block. So he better get this one right.
Listen, if he screws it up during the offseason, he shouldn't make it to the season.
100%.
Well, I guess the draft is considered the offseason still, right? So
right.
Yeah.
So listen, but
they can't get this wrong.
No.
Don't say, oh, look, we've got a running back. What?
No. Listen, how you handle this offense should have a direct impact on your future as a Chargers GM. How you handle this, the trading deadline, and free agency, the draft, should have a direct implications on your job title with the Chargers.
Yeah, he better not get any crazy ideas. He better just hire or draft, acquire guys that make sense, right? Whether they are successful is a whole nother story. Just plug the pieces in that you need and then hope, right? Yeah. And I know victory or success is not built on hope, but the fact is that you don't want to get crazy. Don't go out there and try to get smarter than the room, right? Just do what is needed to be done.
Obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious. Right, exactly. Don't overthink this one. All right, that's going to do it for us. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. Pete Fox, Jim Daniels, Kenjon Barner. We're with you 3 times a week. unless we're doing it 2 times a week. Sorry. There's 3 of us doing it 2 times a week. That's what I was going for. And sometimes we have Rob Bush join us, and we have the Quad Squad, which we'll do again Monday or Tuesday next week. So join us for that. In the meantime, have a good weekend. Again, for Kenjon Barner and Jim Daniels, I am Pete Fox. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Appreciate the comments. Take care.